one more time, because I think it might be my favorite. John chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. We are all responsible for loving others. We're responsible for stopping the stranger next to us from stepping into traffic. We're responsible for providing shelter to the homeless. We're even responsible for loving our enemies. For me, this is one of the most simple and yet most challenging themes in Christianity and life as a whole. If you don't already know me, my name is Burkett. I'm going to be a senior at Granville High School in Granville, Ohio, and seeing as I have not been to seminary or even college, the only way I can deliver any sort of message is by using my own personal experiences and strategies. We just heard a passage about love that fits wonderfully with everything I believe about loving others. For me, this is sometimes very difficult. When I see the mass murderer on TV or the bully in my school, honestly, the last thing I think is how full I am of love. It's not necessarily easy, I think we all know that, but that doesn't mean I don't try. For me, I find it easiest to love when in a trusted community, but for a kind of specific reason. When I go to church, for example, I look into the eyes of my pastor, or my friends, or the old woman in the next pew, and without fail, I see a spark of God. I know, it sounds kind of cheesy, but it really is what I do. And somehow, it keeps me from making that snarky comment or judgment. That's why I love John chapter 4, verse 8. It explicitly says, God is love. And if God is love, and God is in every person I see, how can I hesitate from loving them back? So, loving within my trusted community is easy. But we are responsible to love more than just our friends. When I find myself judging someone, or even being outwardly unkind, I think back to my church, or my family, or my friends, and I say to myself, that spark is there. It may be hard to see, but there is a piece of God, of pure, unaffected love in that person. God loves him or her no more or less than God loves me. I'm not perfect, but after going through this thought process, it's just a little bit harder to judge. For me, God is in everyone on this planet. Pure, unaffected love is in every single person that walks the earth. That's how I interpret and deal with our responsibility to love one another. It's not about forcing an image of God on people who don't wish it. My mindset is about my personal faith and the way in which I feel interconnected to every person on this earth through love and God. So, at this point, as silly as it may seem, I want every person to find a partner or a trio or a quartet. As long as everyone has someone, will be okay. And I want you to say to them, I see God in you, or I see love in you. Isn't everyone just feeling the love right now? Got it going on. So, you also may or may, this whole bow your head thing is really bothering me. You may or may not have noticed that I pray with my eyes open. I even tend to gaze around the room. And don't be mistaken, I am paying attention. But I I'm looking directly at God in the way I see God. So don't worry if I make awkward eye contact. If we start with every single person in this room looking for God in people, or finding his or her own strategy to love proactively, we will be creating communities that work. Communities that work are built from thinking and acting in the name of love. It is our responsibility to love one another. So please, go from this room either practicing or brainstorming your personal strategy for intentional love. We are all responsible. God is calling us every day. Amen.